I'm here all day.
On the same topic. Now, we understand it's some years before this particular deal, is delivered. But it is fair to say that Saudi Arabia is using overwhelmingly using American weapons in its war in Yemen. Would you agree with that? Would you agree that it is using F-16s, Apache helicopters, whatever? I mean, which are American supplied
I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't have the, to say that they're overwhelmingly using U.S. weaponry.
I mean, the United
we have a
States
strong, robust.
Is the major supplier of arms to Saudi Arabia, correct?
We have a strong military sales relationship with Saudi Arabia. I will not dispute that.
Do you feel that makes you? I just remembered. Do you feel that? I mean, specifically going to what Human Rights Watch and what other rights groups have said, like. How do you respond to the criticism that effectively, or at least could risk the U.S. being complicit in these civilian deaths and in sort of the inaccurate targeting, whatever it might be?
Well, again, so a couple of thoughts there. One is that, the coalition, and in particular Saudi Arabia, did not choose this fight. This is a result of spillover from the war in Yemen, the conflict in Yemen. That was, frankly, putting at risk Saudis who are living across the border and about, frankly, defending their sovereign territory. That said, we have seen in their particular targeting, and the most egregious example was this strike on the funeral procession, inaccuracies that put civilians clearly at great risk. We've been very clear about our concerns, and in fact, the Saudis immediately after that bombing did conduct an investigation and made public the results of that investigation. Going forward, obviously, we've asked them to look at fundamentally how they review and how they determine their targeting. Our cooperation that we provide to Saudi Arabia does not include, and I think we've talked about this before, target selection or review. And as I said, none of it constitutes endorsement of offensive operations in Yemen that have harmed civilians.
The Saudi war goal is to restore an ousted president.
I'm sorry?
The Saudi war goal is to restore the ousted president of Yemen.
Well, again...
The breaches of the border happened after the conflict began.
But David, and the Secretary has worked very hard in this regard. I mean, there is a UN process. We saw a breakdown when...
You just described the Saudi action as not of their own choice. They were reacting to cross-border attacks.
Well, that is true. I mean, but... This is
to fight to put 25 in power?
This is a conflict that has spilled over across their border. They have taken steps to defend Saudi territory, defend their citizens. But what's, again, important here is that there is a UN-led process that, frankly, most recently took a hit earlier this week. We've thought we were close a couple of times to getting a cessation of hostilities into place, but there is a process here whereby we can end the fighting and bring about a peaceful transition. But it takes all sides, obviously, to...
It feels like you're making excuses for them that they wouldn't make for themselves.
How so? Oh,
their stated war goal is to restore the Yemeni president.
Well, I'm not going to speak on behalf of the Saudis, but, they have also been helpful in trying to get this peace process up and running.
Mark,
Please.